Do you want to know the secrets on getting a great deal on a brand new home? Well then stay tuned. Home buyers typically know that the price seen on a listing is usually negotiable. Well, the same goes for when buying a newly built home. This usually comes in the form of builders' incentives. With the market changing to more of a buyer's market, we are seeing more incentives from the builders. These incentives aren't always as simple as a price reduction. Hi, I'm Kim Bloch, a local realtor here in the Greater Palm Springs area. I love helping buyers and sellers navigate our market. My contact information is below in the description. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. This helps my channel grow and shows me some love. Now, let me share with you on what the builders' incentives are and when they are typically offered. Often, we will see incentives along billboards and online to capture the attention of buyers and reel them in. Some of these billboards may read, "Get $5,000 in designer upgrades, and if purchased before a certain date, we will pay closing costs." Sounds like a deal to me. Home builders can offer incentives at any stage of their building process. Some are at their grand opening just to get some interest in the new community, while some are offered near the end of the building project. Recently, with the market slowing, we are seeing incentives from new home builders to move their inventory. With the overall economic conditions, such as higher interest rates, this seems to be lighting the fire under some new construction builders to get some buyers through their doors. Incentives tend to change depending on what's happening with our economy. Lower interest rates and perhaps cash at closing would be intriguing to some buyers. This may help buyers that may not be able to afford a particular community, but with these incentives, they may. On the higher end properties, the type of incentive that may be attractive may be some property upgrades. One important thing to note is that not all incentives are advertised. Sometimes the only way buyers will know if any incentives exist is if they or their realtor asks for it. The old saying is, if you don't ask, you don't get. This is why it's always a great idea to have a buyer's agent represent you. The salespeople at the new home construction sales office are working for the builder. You want a realtor representing you so that you can take advantage of all the incentives. Lately, I have seen builders offering things like a new refrigerator or blinds. Here in this area, builders are including pools and spas. I think that's a wonderful incentive. Many builders are offering financial incentives to work with the builder. Some incentives may be price reductions, while some may be where the builder is offering to buy down the rate on the loan or pay some or all of the closing cost. It's an expense for the builders to carry a finished home, so they want to get it sold as soon as they can. Buyers can choose their lender of choice, but sometimes there are benefits with doing the builder financing to take advantage of all the incentives that they can. And it's always best for the buyer to shop different lenders and compare all offers just to make sure that the builder's terms are really the best deal that they can get. Buyers who choose their own lender should be aware that if the loan isn't ready when the builder is prepared to turn the home over, the buyers could face penalties and any delays that their lender may have. I actually just saw this with one of my buyers who chose to use their own lender, and the builder ended up finishing the home build quicker than they first told the buyers. Well, it did cost them some extra money because they couldn't close as soon as the builder was ready. This could amount to hundreds of dollars a day. We all know that the timing can be a challenge. Sometimes there is a delay on the buyer's side, and sometimes they do finish early. That is a really tough one to predict. If you are using the builder's lender and they can't close, the buyer won't be on the hook. Whatever lender you do choose, do make sure to read all the fine print. You don't want to be caught off guard with some condition that you overlooked during all the excitement to close that deal. Sometimes there are caveats to these incentives, like must close by this date. Always get in writing what happens if the completion date isn't what it was first talked about. Sometimes a home loan may be delayed or it might fall through at the last moment. While builders' incentives may be found as price cuts on the actual house, home buyers may more commonly see offers to help reduce costs on the financing front, with builders offering to buy down the interest rate on the home loan or pay some or all of the closing costs. One caveat to keep in mind, though, is that these deals are typically tied to financing through a builder's preferred lender. Builders often want to work closely with certain lenders because they want to know that the loan will close without delay once the home is completed. It is expensive to carry a finished home, so the builder wants to get it off their books as soon as possible. While buyers can always bring in a lender of their own choosing, these borrowers will typically be forfeiting any builder financing incentives and may end up out more money at the closing as a result. If the builder doesn't pay this incentive, then the buyer could have to pay all the closing costs, which typically adds around 3% of the purchase price. However, it's always smart to shop around and compare offers from several lenders or brokers just to make sure that the builder's terms are truly the best deal you can get. Home buyers who do find better financing terms with an outside lender should be aware that if that loan isn't ready to close at the specified time, the builder is prepared to turn the home over. Buyers could face closing delay penalties, which could be hundreds of dollars per day. With the builder's lenders, if they can't close, the buyer would not be on the hook for those delay fees. Whether you end up using the builder's lender or not, always be sure to read the fine line print of any incentive that you agreed to, since it may contain small conditions that may be easy to overlook in the rush and excitement to close the deal. There may be a caveat to these incentives, such as must close by a certain date that may not be in the buyer's control if the home isn't finished. There's also the possibility that a home loan may be delayed or fall through due to mortgage approval problems, which might occur if the buyer suddenly changes jobs at the last minute or makes a big purchase like a car. Generally, it's best to come to the closing table having made no significant recent changes that would affect your finances. Let's talk about why builder incentives are on the rise today. Home builders face the same challenges as other home sellers when it comes to pricing. The increase in interest rates have been a problem with the builders. When the real estate market was red hot, builders did not have to offer many or any incentives for the homes that they were building. Higher cost and uncertainty about the economic outlook have made home shoppers much more selective. Today, most builders are offering incentives at most every phase of their project. So how can we take advantage of some of these builder incentives today? With interest rates being more than double what they were just a year ago, we are seeing builder incentives that are focused more with buyers having a more affordable monthly payment. One possible incentive that may be offered is a permanent interest rate buydown, funded by the builder. This creates a lower monthly payment for home buyers and reduces financing costs over the life of the loan. Another incentive I have been seeing offered is an extended interest rate lock. This is paid by the builder and allows buyers to lock in lower interest rates. This protects buyers against any future rate hikes. One other really interesting financing incentive home buyers should know about is that some builders actually purchased rate locks when the rates were lower. Builders can offer loans below current market rates to their buyers. So I say if you see a great incentive and you're ready to move, don't wait. Some local incentives we are seeing here are like $50,000 in upgrades, or to buy down the loan, or even paying all closing costs. Builders are offering refrigerators, and my favorite is I've seen builders adding pools and spas. If you're looking to purchase new construction here, I would love to help guide you through the process and help get you some great incentives. Now watch this next video on 11 reasons why we love living in Palm Springs.